The main issue I see with people running webinars is that they send people to a dead page after they register. So, for example, I register for this live webinar and it hits a page that says, "Great, thanks, your registration is confirmed," and nothing else happens. Well, I realized a couple years back that that is a dead end. And in marketing, and especially in direct response or digital marketing, we never want to give someone a dead end when there's more opportunity for them to take action. So, in this video, I'm going to break down how we're able to continue the journey. Basically, capture the interest, enthusiasm, and intent that's already there. And the way we do that is through a custom confirmation page, registration confirmation page. So in this video, we're about to do a screen share. We're going to dive into the elements on the page, how we're able to see about 20% of any registrant. It doesn't matter if they show up or not. 20% of any registrant take action. And in most cases, it's book a call. Schedule an inbound booked sales call with high intent on the CEO's calendar or the sales team's calendar. So let's take a look. All right, here we have a webinar registration page. And for this example, we're going to use a client of ours, Brad. He runs a B2B investment consulting firm. He helps companies raise capital that they're after faster, easier, just better than if they were doing it on their own. So we've got the registration page here, hooky headline, subheadline, date, all the elements of a registration page. And if you want to view this, you can go to bradblazer.com/webinar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter my info into here. Just don't spam me. And then I'm going to click register. Just like I'm a high intent registrant, I've come to the page. And the way we drive registrants is through a combination of advertising across digital platforms such as Meta and LinkedIn and even Google, and his email list. And his sales team goes back to the leads that have already come in the pipeline, and they send them personal invitation. "Hey, Tommy, I'd love for you to join me this Tuesday. I'm going to be talking about, or Brad's going to be talking about," that type of stuff. All right. So this is the confirmation page. Now, originally, it did not have these buttons. We'll get to those in a second, but I want to highlight the elements here. So up top, we have a logo which shows brand authority. Then we have a little, I call it a call out or like attention tagline. Need help? Well, if I'm registering, then a percentage of the registrants are going to resonate with that. I need help. So it says drop me an email. This goes to the entire sales team, or schedule a quick call below. So it gives multiple elements that they can click on and take action with. They don't just have to schedule a call. The majority of people do, of course, but it gives people kind of a quote unquote out if they just want to email. So here's the main headline. Great, your registration is confirmed. Now, notice that I don't say it's complete, because complete means dead stop. Your registration is confirmed, all done. No, we don't say that. we don't say anything like all done, complete, finished, you're good to go, that type of stuff, because we want to subliminally tell people that, hey, it's not, we don't want to tell them that it's complete, because we're still continuing that journey. You will receive an email with confirmation details. If you have any issues, please contact. Again, we highlight that it's an email they can email and it's clickable. So we just use a mail to link right there. Scrolling down, we'll get to the buttons in just a second. Scrolling down, this is the secret sauce, if you will. It says, let's talk about how we can insert big promise here. And for this client, we can help you find, attract, and close new investors. So that's so important. Think about your company or your business. What is the big promise? What is the big thing that you can say to them that will entice them, compel them, inform them, and move them along the journey to take further action? So for us, for example, let's talk about how we can run your webinars, or better yet, get you more registrants to your webinars. In this example, we have a couple different services, but in this example, let's talk about how we can take all of the technicals off your plate. Let's talk about how we can build funnels that convert better than anyone else. Let's talk about how we can, you see what I'm saying? So just think about it. That's a very rough copy, just 2 cents, but think about it and massage it. For this client, it's find, attract, and close new investors, because we've done market research. We've talked to his top 10% of customers one-on-one and in surveys, and this is what they resonate with the most. I did not just pull this out of thin air. Now, continuing on, just schedule a call below. Okay, we tell them what to do in plain English, just like we have clickable up here. Tell them what to do in plain English. Just schedule a call below and see how we can help fast track your capital raise. This is a free, no pressure discovery call. Okay, here's the most important part: to learn about our services. Now, we do not position this as a free coaching call or, get a 30-minute strategy call with Brad. No, we used to do that, and we saw that the intent with this verbiage is a lot better. So we've been using this for a couple years now. Tell them what to do. Tell them exactly what's going to happen, and calm their fears. Free, no pressure. No pressure, because they're not sleazy salesmen. This is not like walking onto the car lot. To learn about our services. So people scheduling the call, they have the intent to learn about the services. Now, this element is something that most companies that I've worked with personally don't use. Now, there's a lot of software out there that you can use to help you with this, such as Calendly or Schedule Once or Acuity. We use the software built into the CRM that we use called High Level, or Go High Level if you want to go to the website. And it's just a one-on-one discovery call. Discuss capital raising. That's all. So this right here, this call calendar, is probably the most important part to what we can do for companies that have a direct impact. Now, in this call calendar, it round robins to the sales team. And so what it does is, this client has a tier 1. He's got setters, which then tee people up to tier 2. Now, tier 2, the setters, they have a little extra time for this. So they're able to take just a small amount. We prioritize it to the setters. So for example, setters get 90% of the discovery call. And then just some filler time. Just a couple of them go to the tier 2, more like you can call them closers or account executives or etc. So that's so important, because you want to have a mechanism where people can self-select to schedule a call with you. This is the new school way of thinking. This is how companies that are extremely successful nowadays do things. They don't try to line up a time like, hey, Tommy, do you have Friday at 2 p.m. available? And Tommy says, no, but I have 5 p.m. on Saturday. And you're like, what? Who takes calls on Saturday? You say, no, we don't work Saturdays. Do you have Tuesday at 1 p.m.? And Tommy says, no. How about Wednesday? And then everybody just ghosts each other, because at that point in time, people are frustrated. It's hard to line up time. You've just wasted a week in back and forth. Or you can get them to self-select right here. So over here, people schedule a call. Let's say, I'm good for 11 a.m. on Wednesday. All right. First name, last name, email, phone. Terms of service or compliance right there. That's very important if you're using SMS marketing with the new regulations that passed. Then we have some optional field, an optional field, a company name, then required field, provide some details about the projects you're raising capital for. What are you most interested in talking about? So this is a bucket question. This places people into buckets based on what their intent is. What are you interested in? Well, investor marketing system, investor kit pitch deck, list of qualified investor leads, do-it-yourself training videos, consulting directly from the client, investor networking events, in-person boot camps, and something else. Something else? Well, most people select specific things. We don't see a lot of something else come in. And then, I keep saying this is the most important thing. This is all important, but this is crucial to knowing what marketing channels are working. Where did you first hear about us? So most likely they just came from the registration. So they're going to put webinar or $2 billion webinar, and so anytime it has webinar or training class or something like that, it drops them into a specific bucket in that channel. If they might have said advertising or ads or Facebook or etc., cool, that drops them into another bucket. So when I'm looking at the reports on a consistent basis, I'm able to see, all right, we see that we have direct attribution in the platforms. We can see, okay, hey, Facebook ads say, we drove 1,000 registrants and it was a cost of $8 per. And then we also have first party word of mouth. Where did you first hear about us? We can pull reports and see, all right, out of 1,000 people that Facebook attributed, we can actually see that only 800 said they came in from webinar or Facebook and stuff like that. Anyway, it's not rocket science, folks. It's not. It's just about being intentional with the elements of marketing. So let's keep scrolling down. They can, of course, schedule a meeting. Boom, it's on the calendar. Wonderful. Great. Scrolling down here, let's say, for example, this didn't entice me enough. I'm scrolling down the page. I'm seeing what's up. Next, we talk directly about the services. So we help clients raise more capital. Very just blunt promise statement right there through a number of high caliber services. We always want to position this client in this page as preeminent, very high caliber, very premium, white glove type stuff. So we say high caliber services. And then we just give a quick list of 3 to 5 different services right here. From there, this client creates really great pitch decks for people. That's very relevant to his industry. So we've included some examples of pitch decks because it's something tangible. Scrolling down, then we have examples of testimonials. This gentleman raised $102 million. These people talk about the training directly from Brad. This one talks about the boot camp, etc. An in-person event. All right. So by now, you're probably getting a good picture of this page and the different elements. It's all about intentionality and all about continuing the journey. Now let's scroll back up here and talk about the buttons. So Daniel, why do you have 2 buttons? Well, the client is an author and he wanted to push more of his book. So what we did is we ran a test and added buttons here. And number 1, of course, is talk with us because we want sales calls. We want inbound calls booked on the sales team's calendar. But number 2, get a discounted copy of my book. And it takes them over to this page, which we built as well. My book shows you how to confidently connect with, raise capital from high net worth investors. So if we plug in information here, we can see there's 2 different options. We've got the ebook and a free mini course digital product, and we got the physical book plus the same free mini course digital product shipped to you. This is delivered digitally, but the physical book is shipped to you. All right, $7 or 17. And they're saying that's super cheap. That's not going to make $1 billion. Well, correct, but it does recoup some of the ad spend over here. So, for example, if we have, let me just pull out my calculator here. If we have 100 people hit this page, and it costs us $8 per registrant to get those 100 registrants, the people hitting this page, it's $800. Now, let's say, for example, we have 10% buy the book. And for this example's sake, I'm just going to use the $7. So we have 10% of 100 is 10 times 7 is $70. So 800 minus 70, 730. So we just reduced our ad spend by $70, which isn't a ton per se, but there's some upsells on the back end, and I'm not going to get into the crazy math right now. So it is a lot more than just a $7 or $17 bump right there. But all I'm trying to say is at scale, because we drive a lot more than 100 people each week to this. We get about, goodness gracious, we get about 700 calls a month for this client. I haven't looked at it. 3,500, about 3,500 webinar registrants every month, anywhere between 3,000 to 7,000 registrants. Just depends on the ad spend we pump in. Anyway, enough of that money math. There's also another thing down here. Become a capital raising pro with the vault. So we touch them with another element too. We say click here to check out the vault. The vault, and we added explanation sentence, is an online training program plus weekly group call. That's huge. This client goes live every Thursday for this private community that teaches you how to find new investors, prepare your pitch deck, and know what to say to attract investor capital the right way. Now, you may be saying, why do you capitalize some stuff? Why does this font look weird? Well, that's his brand. And a different client has a different brand. Every company's different. So, click here to check out the vault, and boom, another landing page, another sales page. Wow, it's $7,000 off? Yes, it's a quote-unquote special right now. The sales team mainly sells this on the calls, but if anybody comes here, we can just pick up $3,000. So let's do the math again. We already know that we have $800, 100 registrants, but let's say 2% of the registrants purchase the vault. So 100, let's just say 1%. 100 times 0.01. Well, that's $3,000. So we can do the math on that. We already had $70 spent on the book, 730. So 730 minus 3,000. I mean, we've made a significant profit right there. So you can see how all these different elements, whereas they're small percentage-wise, when done correctly, it can add up to a big payoff. Most importantly, that just recoups the ad cost. The real money is made when they're selling services over here, $25,000 for some of this stuff, $3,000 right here. We just talked about that. You know, this is a $10,000 to $100,000 engagement. This is a $1,000 in-person event, $10,000 right here. So you can see how using a webinar can have a direct impact on the business. Now, using a webinar with points of conversion around every corner, that's more important. So with that being said, I'm going to flash up an image to end this video, and you can pause it if you want. But if you're interested in how you can improve your techniques in digital marketing, this is a great way to do so. But I'm also more than happy to talk with you. You know, if I'm not able to help, I'll just point you in the right direction. Hopefully this gives you some insight on what you need to do next. Let's get to this image. All right, I'll end with this. This is the technical flow chart of a live webinar campaign. We got the traffic sources over here, but you can see this yellow. Everything pushes back to schedule a call. And that's the majority of the clients we work with. They're selling high ticket services, anything $1,000 and up, which warrants a sales call. Confirmation page, webinar, webinar replay, retargeting ads, email follow-up, post-event follow-up, etc. So again, happy to talk with you about it, but hope this sheds some light on things you can improve, whether you're doing webinars or you're just trying to bolster up your website or digital marketing from a macro level. All right, appreciate you watching.